I was stuck. I had finished graduate school, and I was back home living with my parents, doing the same exact job that I had done before I left, which was a bank teller, and I wasn't very good at it, so I'm not sure why they hired me back. But I also wasn't using my degree, which was international development. So I needed to do something fast. And I did. I up and moved to Washington, D.C., signed a lease on an apartment sight unseen, temped until I found a job in international development. I started doing the things that you're supposed to do as like a new 23-year-old Washington, D.C. I was meeting friends, I was making a lot of connections and building some really strong friendships. And I was like, okay, I got this. I got the job, I got the apartment, I got the friends. Now I need a boyfriend. So I joined all the apps, like every single one of them. Bumble, Tinder, Hinge, Christian Mingle. Not a Christian, but I thought I'd give it a try anyway. And I went on a lot of dates. And some of them were fine. I met some lovely humans. I also met some really terrible excuses for human beings. Like the banker who would literally not take no for an answer, and I had to ask the bouncer outside the club to ask him not to leave so that I could go home safely, and then suggest that he call the police because that guy was clearly on something. I also just met some weird people, the guy who showed up to my date and then sobbed loudly at the bar, and was then my Uber driver later that night. Yeah. So this whole dating thing wasn't really going as well as I had hoped. That is, until I met Felix. I matched with Felix on Tinder, and he had this tall, dark, handsome foreign thing going on, and I was so into it. So we messaged a little bit on Tinder, and he wrote me and he said, hey, would you like to Netflix and chill? So I had not done that as of yet, because I just didn't think it was the best method for finding the love of my life. But I had recently just shaved my legs, so I thought, why not? So Felix comes over, and I open the apartment door, and standing in front of me is the sexiest man I have ever seen in my whole life. His profile online did not do him justice. He is gorgeous. He has this thick curly hair that I just really wanted to put my fingers in. And he was so buff. I could see the muscles rippling underneath the shirt. Oh, it was so good. Okay, so he comes into the apartment, and I get him a glass of wine, and we sit on the couch, and you know how there's a dip in the middle of the couch where the seat cushions come together? So we're chatting to each other, and I can feel Felix moving into the dip a little bit more. And so then I move into the dip a little bit more. And we get to the chill part of the evening pretty quickly. And it was really good, so good. And afterwards, we're laying next to each other, and Felix goes, hey, babe, you have really sexy eyebrows. And I'm like, oh my God, this is the best compliment ever. This guy thinks I'm so sexy that even my eyebrows are sexy, right? Great compliment. So Felix goes home, but we continue to see each other. For the next 6 months, we do the whole getting to know each other's hopes and dreams and wants in this world, and he tells me about his childhood, I tell him about my childhood. We do a lot of chilling. There's a lot of great stuff going on. And I'm like, okay, I found it. This is my boyfriend, but I should probably tell Felix that. So one night I'm at his place, and we're laying in bed, as you do. And I turn to him and I say, Felix, I really like you. I want this to be like a serious relationship. We should just go for it. Let's be like official. And he pauses. And he says to me, "Can I be honest with you?" And I think, yes, like honesty is a great way to start a relationship. You really need to lose some weight before you can date anyone, let alone me. And I'm just so hurt and crushed, and it feels like all the air has left my lungs, and I'm so confused because what does my weight have to do with dating? And isn't that what we had been doing for the past 6 months? And I'm so embarrassed that I let this man who thinks I'm fat see me naked. And so I just grabbed all my clothes and I put them on and I run out of the apartment, and it's freezing, but I don't even like really feel the cold on my face because hot tears are like streaming down and I'm just sobbing. And I go home and I continue to sob, and my confidence is at the lowest I think it's ever been. I couldn't understand why someone who I was under the impression cared about me would say something like that. And then I started to think about my body. What did it mean that I needed to lose weight, and what was wrong with my body? Exactly. I started to think about how incredible this body was. This body gives really good hugs. This body can walk up and down a flight of stairs without any problems. And this body satisfies, and Felix knew that. So while I'm thinking about how actually phenomenally fantastic this body actually is, I come to 3 conclusions. The first is, I am so sexy that even my eyebrows are sexy. The second is that I did fall in love in DC. It was with myself. And the third, fuck Felix.
Because you know I'm all about that bass, no trouble. I'm all about that bass, no trouble.